Well, I was
Modes of
talking
shape
about it
change.
before it was actually presented as a paper. I mean, I started working on that a long time before. I remember presenting that way of looking at shape in 1984 at the conference that was in Jersey.
Right, and then Ellen Goldman wrote a refutation. But you're saying that there was a paper that came even before that conference, or was
No,
that
I think
the
it was
paper?
after.
Oh, well, that was a kind of then response and summing up kind of thing.
Right,
Oh yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So so the term modes of shape change,
Right.
I feel, I think it was Jimmy Lee Listenby who used the term modes of shape change as opposed to shape qualities.
Oh, right.
Right.
And now shape quality, and then there's this whole big thing about shape. What the word? There's
What is
certain
the
terms.
quality?
So the two things that the symbols and the terminology. There's a lot of again, the limbs. Maybe not anymore. Maybe there's a coming together because some of the I don't know. You're the one. I haven't been. When I look on the bulletin board, it looks to me like people have had training in both places, or they had a teacher, who loves the IMS, the Peggy Hackney.
IMS. I've never heard it called IMS. That's so funny. I call it IMS. But
we all say
IMS.
IMS.
There's limbs and IMS.
We say IMS, and we say, oh, isn't that funny?
Yes.
We
I've
always,
never heard
this
of
is we
IMS.
just refer to it, we say LODC, limbs and IMS.
IMS.
And the DMB. IMS.
I think because limbs, then.
Yes,
Because
of
of
course.
limbs,
Yes.
Anyway,
I learned something. Isn't this fabulous?
well, maybe the rest of the world we're the only one.
I don't know. Anyway, go
Whatever.
on.
It's just the term. Yeah. So, and all on it. So then there was all of this development about some of the two big areas that I know about that seem to me to be different with the effort materials from what happened in Europe and stuff. First was the direct, the definition, the idea of indirect, which I learned about when we did that. Were you in that project with Martha Davis? With
I was not. I was on tour, I think. During that one, but
whatever,
yes.
and it became apparent from our sitting and looking at
The
indirect
inter-observer reliability was
that
the least.
I was told I was the only one they could get in reliability because I was doing direct and indirect and some your I think Vera was one, somebody else, and I messed it up and then it was the first illumination apparently that there was a different way of thinking about indirect. Because they were thinking, in Europe, if it could just be this could be indirect. I mean, this could be indirect.
Yeah.
Right.
You're doing it directly.
And Irmgard, am I right? That Irmgard came along with the idea that that's every awareness.
Yes, I think the best term to describe it is all-encompassing
There you
awareness.
Go. Great.
So you're taking in this whole aspect,
the whole time.
and you don't have to be waving like this.
Right.
Because it's like I'm aware of all these people here.
I don't even have to be moving.
Right, you don't. That's right. So
can you do?
One of the things I noticed at a presentation, it was at Ohio State in teacher training, log notation teacher training, was Teresa Highland.
Highland.
She has the concept that for indirectness, you need to
move your eyes around.
Move your eyes, and it's only the eyes. And I said you could be direct, or you could be direct with your arm.
Of course.
Or your
and she's no. It has to be. You have to focus on it.
I totally disagree with that. Because
I do too. And then she goes, no. This is my. Yeah.
So my example on that one is like, for instance, I could be doing something like this, and I'm aware of everything. That's how pickpockets work. They're feigning indirectness while being very direct, and in a different part of the body.
You're walking around in a place this is mine, you're walking around in a place, because I had this experience, a dark cave kind of thing, and there are mice all over the place.
You're so
You can't even see.
you cannot feel. Oh, you just feel that they're all around.
You feel they're all around you.
Ooh,
Need to.
Yes.
So anyway, but then there's this whole other area that I've always been curious about. Are we going in a direction that's okay, or
That's
going
fine.
off that?
That's fine.
All right, or am I just being, my own particular interest? But, and this is an area that for me at least I would love to see it evolve even further.
Okay.
And that is particularly around the weight, well, a couple of areas, but the weight factor.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea, it seems to me, of heavy and weight sensing and limp, all of that stuff, and then there are symbols that are, to begin with, I'd be interested in knowing how the evolution, or how that way of thinking, there's more to this weight than is traditionally known, how that came about. And I do feel that part of it still, because it's newer or whatever, that there's lots of different ideas about it.
A lot of different. Some people don't think that passive weight is weight, and I do, for instance, because in our application area, if you're going to do like something like
Right.
that, if I don't let the gravity force do it, I can't. It's a passive moment. Mm-hmm. I'm letting the force be coming from somewhere else to move me. Mm-hmm. Whereas some people would say that's not a weight effort, but it is a use of your weight. You're allowing it to be used in a different expressive aspect.
And that whole area about the use of gravity and gas dynamic paradigm,
I know. Yes.
is a whole other layer of things to when you begin to get into that. And then there's a whole other aspect of it that we've talked about. Does the idea of being relaxed and being tense, which sometimes I suspect is convoluted or mixed up with, there's a word, conflated, is that the right?
Yeah.
With bound effort and free effort, which to my mind, being careful, I can be careful and be relaxed. I can be careful and being relaxed, and I know I'm being sustained. That's it. You know what I mean? Or I can be, or I can tense my muscles. I mean, anyway, you get the idea that there are these different things that could maybe
I think Anne
be
has a
even
very
richer.
different understanding of the weight effort than what we
Definitely.
teach.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
her understanding of the use of strong weight is high intensity. It has to do more with the amount
Definitely.
than it does with the inner attitude towards use of the weight, which I think is more what we in the effort aspect.
And her opposites, the way she says the opposite is and May had some fascinating things to tell me about, because we were talking about Chinese and
the translation of strong and lightness, because it's a contract. And then so I was looking at the Chinese translation of Anne's Laba notation in Chinese, so that it translates strong and weak. And then so I was like, weak, it's not really a right way of translating lightness.
A lot of people have in their minds, a lot of like everyday people out there would say that the opposite of light is heavy.
Oh, it's heavy. And that's what Anne, I think, does.
Yeah, and but
I think
in my mind, the difference in the active weight aspects, like if this is active strong, and this is
heavy.
No, this is active light.
Right.
So these are the active ones: active strength and active lightness. Then you can have the total passive, so that would be what I would call heavy on this end, and limp on this end would be with a 0.
Right.
So those are this is in the passive areas. Limp and heavy are the opposite of each other, and in the active areas, light and strong.
Mm.
And then there's this area which I call weight sensing.
And the whole relationship to gravity. Well, you know.
But let me just say one thing about that.
Go ahead.
The weight sensing, in general, I feel is like, we used the release symbol
Right.
from the one that looks like a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Janice
Release?
Forsick and I.
Or that's
The loose. That's
relaxation.
That's relaxed.
In
yeah.
the law meditation.
Release
relax.
is usually because the whole
Right,
side, so you break
relax.
into two.
Oh, yeah, relax, yeah.
Right, right.
So relaxing into your weight. But in general, when I see it, for the most part, it has a flow component as well. So when I see it, when I see what I would probably call weight sensing, it has somewhat of a flow fluxing.
You say it it's association.
Often, yeah.
I personally have lots of questions about, these symbols. I would love to just have a theory meeting or 2 or a dozen.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to get into it, but the main thought for me is that these, and perhaps even some qualities that we aren't, have, that can also be involved with, could be really illuminating and open up our eyes to new ways of observing and thinking about.
Right.
I mean, we would, so that's something that I would like to have. I'd love to have hearing these. But how did this exploration into this expanded view of effort come about? Was that Ermengarde who said that? Was you
No.
Jan, or
No,
what was that?
no, it was when I was attempting to analyze the dance of the late 60s and early 70s, which was when Twyla's work was becoming kind of well known, and I just felt like it wasn't actively light, it wasn't actively strong, but it was about weight.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different attitude towards the weight of one's body, which had moments of passivity, moments of sort of sensing the weight, like a jostling of water within a bag, and how so you could have weight sensing on the light end in some sense,
Mm-hmm.
or you could have weight sensing on the heavier end,
Mm-hmm.
or the strong end. So, and also in folk dance styles.
Oh, definitely.
So when you have the da 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 da
Right,
da,
but you're
da,
wet,
da,
you're
da,
involved with
da, da,
gravity.
this is a sort of a lightweight sensing. It's not
Mhm.
really.
But your awareness of gravity is what is really, it's not just a delicacy, but it's a delicacy in which there's really the sense of gravity, the awareness of gravity is also an essence of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And for instance, when I was in a piece that Mark Morris choreographed on our